Hi, I'm Sean, and this is Ask Sean Ward number 5. And I have dressed up to make it a special occasion for you because I looked and it had been so long since I've done one of these Ask videos. I've got an epic and hilarious superhero video that was gonna be going up today. Here, I'll give you a little preview here. And have a look at this. And how about this? That was going to be today's video. Check out the latest on my vlog channel to see what's going on with that. The long story short is that fate has intervened and brought us back together to do another video where I answer your questions about YouTube, superheroes, or anything you want to ask. For all of you commenting on the last Ask video about that idea of a comic book, there is news on that score. This summer, at my hometown Big Comic-Con Fan Expo, we're going to have something new for you. It's going to be the first issue of the Sean Ward Show magazine. It's going to be comic book sized, full color, glossy pages, and it's going to have photos of all your favorite cosplayers from the channel, and we're even going to take some of your favorite videos and turn them into comics with pictures from the videos as the drawings. That's going to be so cool, and it's going to be so fun to have everybody from the channel on hand to autograph it for you when it's ready. Spidey fan asked, what's your fave Spidey suit? I think my favorite Spidey suit would either be the one from the movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. They pretty much nailed it. And in the comics, I think my favorite Spidey suit is just the classic red and blue as drawn by Steve Ditko. I maybe would go for the eyes being a little bit bigger, so maybe it's more accurate to say a post-McFarlane, not necessarily the McFarlane one. His eyes are got too sharp of an angle down here and there's too much webs on it. I don't like the kind of like bald, rounded look to the spider on the chest. But Eric Larson's Spider-Man suit, Humberto Ramos, his Spider-Man suit when he draws it, and even the new one they got now with the glowing spider. I love the shape of the eyes, and Olivier Copiel, who's doing the art. It looks fantastic. Monique N asked, what do you think of Marvel rebooting its universe in the comics? Do you think it will affect the films? Well, I think it's more likely that the films would affect the comics than vice versa. So I would think that anything that they've done to the Marvel universe post-Secret Wars has been to keep it in line with their plans for the movies, because that's just bigger business, and that's just the driver of that whole economic engine. Crazy Chad MB asked, are you a fan of lesser-known characters like the Tick or Machine Man? If so, then who? Well, one of my favorites is a 90s comic called The Max by Sam Keith. It was turned into an MTV cartoon in the late 90s, and that's, if people know it at all, that's what they know it from. The original comics are some of my favorites. I have owned the original Image Comics issues. I've owned the collected editions, and because I don't know where those are right now, and I wanted those comics, I've actually bought them again digitally, and I've got them in the app now. I've also been in love with whatever Paul Pope is working on. He's one of my favorites. The Savage Dragon by Eric Larson. I swore by that comic book for a long time. Ninja Turtles, of course. But I'm mostly into the Marvel and DC superheroes. I love anything to do with superheroes and anything that's tangentially connected to that sort of fandom. Teen Wolf Lover 13 said, I've always wondered while watching the superheroes in real life videos, when people see the hero or villain, does anyone cry over seeing them? Well, if you go back and you watch Spider-Man vs. Venom, the one where they're fighting in the street with shooting silly string at each other. If you listen carefully to the part where they're fighting and everybody's waiting at a bus stop, if you listen, you'll hear a little kid start crying because he's standing there with his mom, holding his mom's hand, waiting for the bus, and all of a sudden, it's like 9 o'clock at night, so it was dark out, and then Venom, I think he saw first, comes blasting around the corner, and here's Spider-Man and Venom beating each other up, going right by him. I'm sure it scared the hell out of me, started crying. There's a couple of other videos where you can see that we really gave people a good startle, but usually it's all in fun. Chocolate Thunder 351 says, what's your reaction to how DC's gone from action-packed comic books to dramatic TV series? Well, I think what they've done with their TV strategy is brilliant. I just wish that they weren't working so hard to build separate and parallel TV and movie universes. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody somewhere in the whole big WB corporate structure has it in mind that after Justice League Parts 1 and 2 are behind. Because the thing is, Marvel and DC, what they're going to have to address after Infinity War and Justice League Parts 1 and 2 is what they're going to do next to get people interested and get people to go, oh my God, can you believe what's happening? So I've talked before about what Marvel's play, I think, is going to be. Let me know in the comments if you don't know, and I'll get into it again in the next video. But DC, I think it'd be a great play for them to build the TV show universe, build the movie universe, and then do Crisis on Infinite Earths and merge it all. Maybe even use web series or other TV shows or whatever to do these like alternate version, really way out there kind of, what if there was a TV show called Elseworlds, and it's just week in and week out, it was these sort of what if stories about different things that take place in these parallel ideas of the DC universe, because then you could bring all of those iterations of characters back. Basically, the reason to do that show is just to populate the movie or the series or whatever it's going to be when you do Crisis on Infinite Earths. That would be pretty fantastic. I would watch that. Mariana Hollow says, who's your favorite superheroine and villainess? That's a good question. I don't know if I've ever specifically thought about it before. When it comes to the villainesses, I would probably skew towards Catwoman or Black Cat, so either of the cat villainesses. And when it comes to the hero, I'm tempted to say either She-Hulk, because she's just so badass. Storm, again, because she's so badass. Yeah, I guess I just like the badass butt-kicking chicks in the comics. Logan Gould says, hi. Hello, Logan. Enrique Diaz butters me up by saying, all I can say is that you are living your dream and I'm really happy for you. Enrique, thank you so much. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. And then he hits me with the Sophie's Choice. If you had the opportunity to work for Marvel or DC, who would you choose? How you gonna do this to me, Enrique? But I've had a video on the DC Comics YouTube channel. So at this stage, I kind of feel like to do a project for Marvel, whether it's in the comics or on the YouTube channel, that's at this point a matter of just evening it out. And I love them both so much. I just love superheroes. I don't care what company they're from. I love them all so much that I would probably say Marvel just to get that back to even Steven. But beyond that, the edge probably goes to Marvel, but only because Spider-Man is my favorite. But I love Batman too. Ugh. Oh, can I work for both? How about this? How about you put me on the next iteration of when Marvel and DC do a crossover? So here's what I'll do. We'll do the Marvel DC crossover, and I'll be the writer or the artist or both for Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew meets Howard the Duck and Rocket Raccoon. Can that be my answer, please? Crazy Comics said, who would win in a fight, the Mask or the Tick? I believe, without knowing so much about the Tick as much as the Mask, I guess all I know from the Mask, I know from like the Jim Carrey movie back in the day that we all saw when we were little kids. But I'd probably give it to the Mask. Or maybe the Tick, because the Tick's probably a better fighter, I would picture. So if he can get a lucky shot, the Tick. If the Mask is on his game and goes in with a plan, the Mask. KR Films asked, do you have any advice for filming little comedy shorts? Well, the only advice I could give you really is to just like get whatever camera you've got, whether even if it's an old cell phone, just use what you've got right now to get going. Don't worry about making the thing you got in mind. Don't focus on it being perfect and letting reasons why it's not going to be perfect yet slow you down. More important to just get it done however you can get it done with whatever tools you got and get on to the next thing. Because when you get into that mode of having an idea and you spend so much time with it rolling around your head that you get attached to it, you get thinking it's the greatest idea ever had, or rather you've just got so much emotion invested in it yourself that it reaches a tipping point where this is not just to do with movie making, this is to do with any artistic endeavor at all. It can get to a point where you have spent so much time with it that you've built it up so big in your head that no actual iteration of the thing is going to match up to the thing that's been building up in your head for so long, right? So the important thing in a case like that is to just get it done, get it out, get feedback on it, use that feedback or don't, and just move on to the next thing. So think about it less in terms of getting your short film made and think about it more in terms of building a body of work that's going to get people to look at it and go, oh, wow, who's this guy? This guy's doing something. Oh, this guy's got a vision, you know? Like, that's what you want, right? No, especially in this digital world, people are publishing, like me, even I sometimes feel like I'm getting buried under all the other content that gets uploaded, and I'm going once a week and have been for a little over 2 years, right? So in this digital age, I think it's more important than ever to not be attached to any one thing you think you're going to make that's going to be your ticket, and just get moving, getting the thing done and getting on to the next thing, and let that be your guiding principle in life. What's y'all looking at asked, what do you like about Deadpool and what's the first Deadpool comic you read? Well, first, what I like about Deadpool is the surrealism aspect, the fact that he talks to the audience, breaks the fourth wall, all that kind of stuff. Because my favorite, not just comics, but my favorite any kind of art is the stuff that gets you thinking that there's more to reality than just what's, in front of you that you can see, touch, and smell and feel, right? Anything that is leading people towards seeing a bigger vision of reality, more complex layers, quantum realm stuff, anything that starts pointing in that direction, just that just gets people thinking that there's more to reality than meets the eye. I love it. So Deadpool draws me for that reason. That's my entree into it. And then it's all up to the artists and the writers, and it tends to attract, or seems to attract, a certain kind of writer or artist who's really got that more comedic, out there bent to their humor. The first Deadpool comic I read was actually Deadpool Max, which was a 4-issue miniseries collected up into a hardcover book that I bought at a comic convention because I saw it. I'd never heard of it before, but I see this hardcover book. It says Deadpool Max, and I didn't even have to see the name. I saw the art, and I knew right away, oh my effing G, that is a Kyle Baker Deadpool book. What? Because Kyle Baker, Google him, look up his art, one of my favorites. I saw Kyle Baker had done a Deadpool book. There's no way I'm going to not own this now. No one exists. Bought it, read it, and went, oh, that's Deadpool. Loved it right away, and that's then dovetails into around the same time that I'm meeting more cosplayers, and I meet a guy named Chris who does what has now turned out to be, for my money, like YouTube's best Deadpool, and we've made a lot of great videos together, and Deadpool keeps being very popular on the channel, so thank you all for loving Deadpool as well. Another Deadpool question from Emma Markle asking, Deadpool's life is so random and insane that it's got to be hard to try to shove all of his character into one movie. So what do you think the storyline will be? You know what, Emma, I don't know what the storyline is going to be. We've kind of seen the trailer, so we know that he's going to start out a normal guy, and they're going to establish the love story, and he's going to go in and be experimented on and get the powers. We know kind of like the origin end of it, but that's going to be Act 1. I was just thinking that it might be where it's like flashbacks throughout the movie, but they're probably going to do it linear. So that's Act 1, maybe not even Act 1. That could be the first 10 minutes of the movie for all we know. Beyond that, I don't know who the villain's going to be. I don't know what the story's going to be. And I don't know enough about the entire run of the Deadpool comic book canon to start theorizing about who the villain might be or what stories they might have adapted into this movie. But I would rather not know. The difficulty for big movies like this, especially the superhero ones because they're so popular, the hardest thing in the world is avoiding the spoilers, right? So it's almost a sport now for me to avoid the spoilers because I don't want to know. I want to see it fresh. I want to see it as a fan. I want to have it huge in front of me with all of my friends around. And actually, when it comes to Deadpool, we're going this time. Here's a little sidebar for you. We're doing a Deadpool party on opening night, bringing all the Deadpools that you've seen on the channel. We've got a block of 24 tickets, and 8 other people have bought tickets to be near us for the section of 32 in opening night of Deadpool. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Next question. Chris Roca 8 says, 2 questions, old friend. Oh, well, that's pushing it. 1, what superhero movie that is in development are you not interested in? Honestly, I think my answer to that question is none. Even when the Fantastic Four was on its way to coming out and it was dawning on everybody how terrible that was going to be, I still bought 24 tickets to take the whole crew because superheroes is like my favorite thing, my biggest interest, my passion, what I've loved since I was a little kid. And so like I'm just so lucky and blessed. It's all thanks to you guys that my work now is all superheroes. And when the working day is done, I shut the computer down and go watch superhero movies or cartoons or whatever. And when I'm relaxing, I'm wearing superhero stuff and I'm reading comics, and it's just all comics and superheroes all day long everywhere. So any movie that's coming out that's got a superhero in it, it's already of interest. It's theirs to lose basically. The default is I'm going to want to see it, and then they've got to screw it up for me to not want to see it, right? So like Ninja Turtles didn't look so hot, so I didn't go. Watched it at home, didn't even finish it. Just got halfway through, skimmed it to see the ending, right? But Ninja Turtles 2, the trailer looks great, and it looks like it's like an animated version of one of our favorite episodes of the old cartoon from the 90s. So that one I actually want to go see. So Yeah, I love all superhero movies like that. And then number 2, would you like to see a comic to movie Army of Darkness versus the Marvel Universe with Ash? Well, Army of Darkness, I mean, I'm not such a horror guy. Like I said, superheroes is my jam. But that sounds like fun. Army of Darkness versus the Marvel Universe. I mean, I'd love to see Ash and Deadpool interact, that's for sure. Book Reviewer 99 says, have you read the Crow comic graphic novel? And have you seen Brandon Lee's The Crow movie? The comic graphic novel? I don't think I've ever actually read any of the Crow's comics. That would be interesting. And the movie, oh, of course I've seen that movie. We've all seen that movie. When I was like public school age, and that was one of those movies that kind of had come out, but it's aimed at an older audience, but because it's comic book stuff, we all wanted to see it. So once it landed on home video, then it was the whole thing of like, oh, so-and-so's going to rent it. We're all going to watch it over there and this kind of stuff, right? Where you're trying to find out whose mom doesn't care what you guys watch and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've seen the movie. Movie is a classic, but never read the comics. And literally saving the best for last, the screen name is The Best in the World, said, I went to go see Avengers Age of Ultron. I saw you in an interview. Did they say anything about the Deadpool costume? What our friend, the humbly named The Best in the World, is talking about was back when Avengers Age of Ultron was coming out, they do, you know how they do the night before it comes up. It's coming out on a Friday. They'll do a couple of screenings on the Thursday night for, you know, the hardcore fans to scramble getting tickets to. So I went to that, and I wore a Spider-Man onesie to that. And Chris, who you've seen on the channel a million times, Corrupt Cosplay, wore his whole Deadpool to go to the Avengers movie. And we both got roped into the theater chain called Cineplex. They've got, you know, their pre-show before the movie. They were shooting a segment for the pre-show. And they were doing an interview thing, you know, who's your favorite Avenger, whatever. So they put a microphone in front of me and put the camera on me, and then also with Chris, you know, 10 minutes later or whatever. And so our 2 interview pieces ended up in the finished piece that was on every Cineplex movie screen, and they're the main, like the main, almost the monopoly movie distributor in Canada as far as national goes. And we were on every single screen in the country. I tell you, it was a solid month of hearing from people I hadn't heard from in a decade, people I went to school with writing to me to say, I saw you on the movie screen. It was very, very exciting. We had gone national. It was a great time. Did they say anything about the Deadpool costume? Yeah, the manager came up to Chris and like was talking to him and trying to like pitch him on coming back to the theater to pose for pictures for the next big movie release or something. So we got to get in touch with him about Deadpool coming out, because that is going to be a party. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I promise I will not let it go this long before I do another Ask video. So put your questions in the comments below. At a minimum, I would love to be doing this once a month. But let me know what you think. You know, in the comments down there, let me know how often you think I should do one of these Ask videos. Hell, maybe you would want me to do one every single day. If there's anybody out there watching who saw the last Ask video and is now still here watching this one, let me know in the comments, because you are the engine driving this whole thing and just taking me so many amazing places and letting me meet so many amazing people and do so many cool things. Like, it's just a dream come true, this whole YouTube thing, and I say it a lot because I mean it a lot. Thank you all so much for your continued love and support, and I'm just going to keep on making hot videos for you. We'll also be back next week with a shout out, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon.